If you could say and spell your name for me.
Yes, Jason Roberts, Jasonroberts.
Great. Awesome. You'll be looking at me for this. And my voice will never be heard, so it's important that you restate the question and the answer.
Sure.
Just so people will know what we're talking about. Just big picture stuff. Describe what your life was like before you found the Freedom Center. What was going on?
Before I came here, I was working as a DJ at a nightclub, and I had been partying and using drugs and alcohol for many years prior to that, probably about 15 years. It started when I was in college with marijuana and some hallucinogens and drinking, of course. And then as I got into the bar and club business, it moved into other drugs, cocaine, various other hallucinogens, ecstasy, stuff like that. About a year prior to coming into the Freedom Center, I tried to quit on my own, and I was able to quit for about 24 days. And then I went right back to using again. And the last 8 months, the level of my use was pretty extreme. I would come into work, and before I would even clock in, I would have a triple bourbon and Coke and a shot of Grand Marnier. Clock in, then order the same thing, take it up to my DJ booth, and then I would drink throughout the night, having other people buy me shots, buying shots myself. I always had a $50 bar tab just for me as part of my pay every night, which I would use in excess every single night and then owe money at the end of the night. And then in addition to all the drinking I was doing cocaine the whole night as well. So starting Thursday night, I would be partying like that until the morning and continue partying through the day. And it would go on till usually Sunday, Monday morning that I was drinking and using cocaine, and with no food, no water, no sleep for a 4-day stretch.
Just a diet of booze and Coke.
Yeah, pretty much.
And you were around it too, looking at the nightclub.
I was, inundated with it, really. Our club was, everybody in that club did it, so it was everywhere. And it was always being offered to me and just always available.
So did that moment come, that dark day, rock bottom hits, and you're like, God, I got to make a change?
Yeah, well, it had been coming for a long time. When I left high school, I graduated with 4.5 and could have gone anywhere in the world to college, really, for free. And at that point, I didn't know what I wanted to do, so I just went to CU just kind of as a default. But I didn't know what I wanted to do with my life, so I kind of fluctuated in college. And so I left college to try to kind of find myself a little bit and just do some other things, get some life experience so that it might help to direct me as to what I wanted to do. Well, that little vacation turned out to last quite longer than I expected, 15 years. And so it had been coming for a few years, the thought that I had so much more to give and so much more to do in this life than to be screwing around as a strip club DJ. So it had been haunting me for several years, and the guilt and the pain had just mounted and mounted and mounted and mounted. And with that pain, the usage mounted and mounted and mounted to try to just cover it up. And finally got to a point where it's just, I said to myself, I'm done running. I cannot run anymore from this. It's time for me to face this and to change my life. And it was at that point that I became ready to do anything to make that happen. Because I had tried other things. I had tried, all the different ways you use to manage addictions, whether it was just doing little lines, only buying beer, not bringing money to work so I couldn't pay my drug dealer, or taking the drug dealer's number out of my phone, only drinking once every hour, not doing shots. I mean, every technique you could possibly imagine to try to curtail my consumption I used and failed every time. So I was like, well, I have now tried everything that I know and I can't do it, and I'm sick of this life, and I'm sick of this pain, I'm sick of just everything. It's like, it's time for me to change, and I was ready to do it. And that's when I picked up I went on the internet and looked, and then I found this place and picked up the phone, and I called and had conversations with one of the intake counselors that was here at the time, and he recommended that I come in right away. kind of strike when the iron's hot, which is probably pretty smart. It's like when people are ready or they have that, let's do it. Like, all right, well, come in, let's do it. And I did, and I came and I did this program. I didn't miss a day. I mean, I was ready to do this, and I've been sober ever since.
Let's talk about the program and just kind of the Freedom Center difference. What makes this such a unique place? And if you can mention the Freedom Center in the answer.
Sure. What makes Freedom Center such a special place to me, number one would be the staff. Lawrence, who runs the place with his wife Susan, are incredibly knowledgeable and compassionate and just exceptional individuals. They are still to this day very important in my life. They're a big part of my life. They're very close to me and I to them. And they're very involved with the people that come through here. The very important thing about them is that they've both been through all of this, which is huge. You know, I watch Dr. Drew on Sober House and Celebrity Rehab. I love those shows. The one thing about him, though, is he's never been an addict. You know, and he's never been through what these people have been through. So everything he knows secondhand. Whereas the people here, they have been through the ringers, you know, and bad. So it makes it really cool to be able to talk to someone who has been there and who knows exactly where you're coming from. And, you know, their experience is huge. They've been doing this for 20 plus years. So they have a huge wealth of information and experience that they can contribute to the recovery process. Different, you know, types of recovery, you know, techniques that they've used. They've gathered from, you know, a myriad of different sources that make this place so good and so effective. I really like the way it's laid out, where Monday nights, you know, it's more about, you know, what the disease does to you on a physical level, you know, and how your weekend went and what's going on in the brain, what's going on in the body. Wednesdays devoted more towards the 12-step work, which is so critical to the success of this after the fact. And then Fridays for the family is huge, because the family obviously is such an important part of this whole process, whether from the roots of where it started or, you know, going forward as a support network. That is such a critical part of this whole recovery. So the way that whole system is laid out, I think, is extremely effective too. And pretty unique to this place as well.
So let's compare your life now, you know, pre-Freedom Center compared to today.
Pre-Freedom Center, wow, was a kind of a comatose nightmare, really. I you know, was living in a world of darkness and really just such pain, you know, not only for me, but for the people around me, especially my close family, who, you know, I was so self-centered and so self-deprecating in my disease that I didn't care who I hurt around me. You know, it was about me getting what I wanted, and that was all that was important. So I hurt so many people. And of course, my life was going nowhere. You know, one of the things that people don't talk about with drug addiction is the fact that you don't grow, you don't mature. So you just stay in this stasis of constantly doing the same thing over and over and over again, but you never really go anywhere. And now, you know, I'm in a position where I'm getting ready to leave the country and go teach abroad. You know, because I decided I was going to do my bucket list early. You know, I was like, I'm not going to wait till I'm 65. I have a new chance at life. It's like, what do I want to do before, you know, I die? What are the things that are exciting to me? And I look back at my life, and when my addiction started was really when I was about 20, 21. So I kind of feel like I'm that age again in a certain sense. You know, I'm lucky enough not to have any, you know, felony convictions or diseases or, you know, I mean, I don't have any children or wife, not that would be bad, but the point is that I'm free to do whatever I want at this point. I don't have a career that I'm entrenched in that I can't, you know, leave. So it's like, you know what, I'm going to start over because I can. And this place has given me that opportunity to do that. And not only that, but I can start over with the strength as a person, you know, from what I've gone through, to know that when I go out into the world, that I'm going to be all right. You know, even if things get dodgy, I know where I can reach for support. I know what I need to do to give myself the love and the strength that I need to move forward and push through things. So that's huge.
That's everything. It's that safety net.
Absolutely.
Always count on. Let me go to this next question. Okay. I want to do something with you all. I have some fill-in-the-blank statements.
Sure.
And if you repeat the first half and then just, fill it in with whatever comes to mind. You can take a second if you want to think about. The Freedom Center helped me to.
The Freedom Center helped me to discover my potential and live the life that I always wanted to live.
That's great. Thanks to the Freedom Center,
Thanks to the Freedom Center, I'm free, really, of the addiction, of all the pain, all the suffering, and all the doubt that kept me in a place of fear for so long.
The Freedom Center is different because?
The Freedom Center is different because of the personal touch here, the people that are involved. Lawrence, Susan, Jim, that's really what makes this place special.
And lastly, if it weren't for the Freedom Center?
If it weren't for the Freedom Center, I don't know what. I could be dead, I could be in jail, or I could just be spinning around in the same, dysfunctional orbit that I was 3 years ago. So thank God for it.
That's awesome. And your outlook now, what's the future look like?
My outlook now is excitement, hope, adventure. A lot of people are like, oh, well, you're 38, shouldn't you be settling down? It's like, no, I'm getting ready to take off. Things are just starting for me. It's all beginning. So.
Life is no longer on hold.
That's right.
Yeah. Last thing, I want you to just introduce yourself. You say, hey, I'm Jason, and thanks to the Freedom Center, I've been sober for how long?
3 years and, about 2 months.
Okay. That's great. Or just say just for over 3 years.
So, hi, my name is Jason Roberts, and
only if you want to give your last name. You don't have to. I totally respect if you want.
Oh, okay, that's all right. I'm pretty open. Do you want me to look in the camera?
Yeah, you look straight into the camera. Okay. Okay, you ready?
Hi, my name is Jason Roberts, and thanks to the Freedom Center, I've been sober for over 3 years.